Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at how 3 different Web 2.0 services can help you in your undergraduate studies. Okay. Now, I've given you all out a worksheet, and I've also put an electronic copy of the worksheet up on now. So if you look in the content area of now, you don't need to do it this very second. There's a worksheet there, which I've now called up onto the screen. Okay, so there we go. iTech 10131 Information Skills for Psychology Web 2.0 worksheet. And essentially what we're just going to do is have a quick but hopefully useful look at 3 particular services that can be of potentially great benefit in your undergraduate life. Now, first of all, have you heard of anyone heard of the term Web 2.0 before? No? Okay, same with previous classes. It's a term you'll sometimes see in the literature, and it kind of came into use probably 5 or 6 years ago now. And the idea is it refers to websites that are kind of more interactive than older websites. So there's a notion that at one time websites were places you went to, there was content there and you could consume that content, but you didn't really put anything up there. You didn't really interact with the website as such, okay? And then there was this notion a few years ago that, oh, there's a whole wave of new, more interactive websites coming along. So whether it's things like Flickr, for example, or whether it's things like social networking sites such as MyFace or Facebook, things that you will interact with rather than just go to and view, okay? And other examples, more recent examples, would include sites like YouTube, which is the site we're going to look at today, and to some extent sites like Twitter and Delicious, which we're also looking at today. So you'll sometimes see that term in the literature, so that's what it kind of means if we're talking about Web 2.0 stuff. But as with all these things, the term's been around a while now, and a lot of websites have changed in nature, so it's a bit difficult to say what is and what isn't Web 2.0. But at least you're aware of the term now, and I do mention it in the worksheet. Okay, now Delicious. What Delicious is, it's what's called a social bookmarking website. And it's not the only social bookmarking website, but it's one that I use, and it's a particularly good one, and we're going to get you to have a look at it. And I think once you've had a look at it and seen some of the features, you might decide, oh, actually, I'd like to sign up for the free account to Delicious to get more out of it. Now, what we mean by a social bookmarking website is when we talk about bookmarks or favourites, there's a downside to them, okay? So if we're using our sort of web browser in a traditional way, so if I open up a new tab, and I'm just going to go to the BBC, for example. Okay, so let's try to look at your task. Right, fantastic, got the BBC website. I think this is a really good website. I want to keep this as one of my favourite websites. And of course, I don't have to write down that information. I can go to Favourites, Add to Favourites, or Bookmarks as it's called in some browsers, and go Add, and fantastic. And if I now go back to my favourites, I can see that the BBC homepage has been added, and if I click on that, it'll take me back there. And favourites or bookmarks are really good, because over the years you get dozens or hundreds, or in my case sometimes thousands of sites, that you build up this collection of sites that you go back to. You don't use a search engine every time, okay? People sometimes say, I search for everything. But of course, after a while, you build up sites that you keep going back to. But the downside to traditional favourites or bookmarks is that if I've done it, I've now done it inside this web browser on this computer. And if I'm on a different computer, in the university, or I'm at home now, or on my mobile phone or whatever, I think, oh, what was that really good site I saw about psychology? What was that really good site I saw about whatever? Yeah? I can't remember. I haven't got the bookmark with me. Well, social bookmarking sites get round that because they're web-based sites, and you can save your bookmarks to the site, and then whatever your computer you're on, as long as you've got internet access, you can go back to your account on it and you can find all your bookmarks. So that really good site that you bookmarked some time ago, it'll be there on a web-based bookmarking service. And there are other advantages to services such as Delicious, which I will highlight in a moment. So Delicious, I've got the details highlighted that are on the worksheet, and there's a search function which we're going to look at the moment. And if you look on the worksheet, there's some sort of text and diagrams and stuff that highlights basic things. But sometimes the best way to do these is to actually just go through and have a look at them and just have a go with them. So I'm just going to open up this link, and I'm just going to go to Delicious. So if you want to go to delicious.com while I'm doing this, so So it's delicious, as in the word .com. And it's funny, it's the tastiest bookmarks on the web. Now, what we'll find with Delicious is that it's pulling up kind of things that are bookmarking. What it's showing me is it's showing me recent things that Delicious users have bookmarked. And by default, when you save a bookmark on Delicious, it's saved as a public bookmark rather than a private one, though you can make things private. And this means that even if you've not got a Delicious account, you can go to Delicious and you can search Delicious for things that other people have bookmarked. And a bit like the kind of Google search algorithm that says, well, if lots of other websites link to this website, it's probably actually a good website. There's some kind of quality process going on there. Okay, it's about the Google algorithm. Similar things may happen on Delicious. It won't always be true, but it could be that if lots of people have bookmarked a particular article, it's because lots of people have made an independent decision that that was a good article, therefore I'm bookmarking it. So there's a kind of collective human search algorithm going on there that says these are good ones. Of course, occasionally there'll be a fantastic article that just one person bookmarks or whatever. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it gives you a kind of indication. It's quite useful. Anyway, so if you want to search for things, like a lot of services these days, it's sort of built around search. And if I go to the Delicious search box, which is up on the right-hand side there, if I begin to type in the term psychology, for example, as I begin to type it in, I get various suggestions appearing. And if I type in the full word psychology, I can see it suggesting, oh, do I want psychology, psychologist, psychology test, and it's basically suggestions on other popular search terms on Delicious. Okay? And then I can hit search. Let's say I'm going to go with psychology. And it's bringing back search results. And this is the third day running that I've done this particular demo. And each day that I do it, the bookmark results are different because it's a live search of what people have been bookmarking. So popular bookmarks have actually changed over each of the days. And I can see that I can search by, it gives me an option to sort of put additional search tags in and look at. I can also see the growth in the number of sort of articles that have been searched with the keyword psychology in over time. And if I look at the search results that have come back, I'll see that the keyword psychology is highlighted where it's being tagged. On these anyway. So here people have bookmarked a thing, you know, why do we do dumb or irrational things? 10 brilliant social psychology. Well, I might go and have a look at that in a moment. And popular tags with people have saved are things like psychology, science, experiments, brain, culture, for example. This one, sad children do better than happy ones in school, right? Kids, educational psychology. Because when people add a bookmark to Delicious, they can put tags on it. Okay, so you might use the term psychology, you might use depression, you might use operant, you might use conditioning, you might use behaviourist, you might use whatever's appropriate. And if you were bookmarking things about your favourite band or your favourite movie site or whatever, then again you'd use appropriate keywords. On some of my tags, which I'll show you some as a moment, if for example I'm tagging stuff about Tesco for my third year economist, then I might use the tag Tesco, e-commerce, business, you know, whatever that is appropriate for me to do. So you get a kind of sense of what the collective users are doing, and sometimes it's referred to kind of social tagging or bookmarking or folksonomy, this idea that people are applying tags, and gradually as the tags are applied, you kind of build up, there's a kind of picture builds up a bit. And so you can search for psychology, you can also sort of kind of search for more specific phrases, but if for example, I want to look at any of these articles at the moment, then one of the nice things is they're all hyperlinked in, so I can click on it, and it will hyperlink in me to the article. So in the psychology blog, this is where it's been linked, lots of people have blogged this, why do we do dumb or irrational things? And lots of people have looked at this article, and there's some nice effects being summarised. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm assuming it's quite good, because lots of people have tagged it, or at least easy to get to grips with. Okay, and a lot of people have looked at it and gone, yeah, that's quite useful, we'll tag that and we'll add it up there. Okay? What would be useful for a moment is if you just spend a minute or two, just try putting some different search terms in to the search box in Delicious and see what kind of results that you get back. Okay? So you can find lots of stuff on Delicious even without being a member of it. And then what I'll do in a moment is I'll show you my account and show you some of the benefits of having an account on Delicious. And the accounts are free. Okay? And the accounts tend to get more value over time, as you will see. So I'll just give you 2 minutes to have a quick search on Delicious, then I'll show you my account,